It's on for everybody else. Yeah.
Like to call the regular session of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners to order. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag Madam Clerk, roll, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Here.
Commissioner Embry.
Here.
Commissioner Jelzinski.
Here.
Commissioner Engler.
Here.
Commissioner Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Swaney.
Here.
Commissioner Holt. All present, Mr. Chairman.
Up next would be approval of the agenda. We'll start out. We have no presentations or special reports, no appointments to boards and commissions. Consent agenda. We'll approve and place that on file. Committee reports, Finance and Administration Committee.
Finance and Administration Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Human Resources and Public Works Committee is all set, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That brings, we have no intergovernmental affairs, no administrator controller issues, no unfinished business. Under new business, going to consider scheduling a goal setting meeting of the Board of Commissioners for a date and time to be determined. And then we'll have general public comment again towards the end of the meeting, announcements, and then adjournment. So with that, is there any additions?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we amend the agenda by including item B under new business, which would be insulin pricing litigation MDL number 3080.
Support.
It's supported to amend the agenda with item B under new business. Insulin pricing litigation MDL number 3080. All those in favor of that amendment? Aye. Agenda. All those in favor of approving the agenda with the added amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Brings us down to general public comments. Anyone that would like to speak, please step up to the front. And you have 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm Don Tyler, 210 West High Street. I wanted to come in tonight to talk about something that bothered me or concerned me, because I feel much of the widespread hostility and discontentment among the electorate today stems from what I believe from the handling of the issuance of the jail bonds, not giving the people a chance to vote on it, combined with it sucking up all the revenue from the wind turbines for the next 40 years to fund an unpopular project left many people disgruntled. The mere size of it, $67 million, 45 in principal, 22 in interest, made many more popular projects untenable. The stealthy manner in which it was implemented further heightened displeasure. At the time, there was a rumor that the commission would put it up for a vote, but they never did. This forestalled taxpayers from collecting signatures that would have required such a vote. Taxpayers were given only the month of February 2022 to collect 7,000 signatures or so to force a referendum. Remember that this was a very cold month during COVID. The commission reckoned correctly that this would be very unlikely to happen. I'd like to ask who is responsible for developing that plan? And did the bond consultant approve of it? I think it would be wise in the future to automatically put any project of more than $2 million before the electorate. Now, many of the more popular projects will struggle to find funding. The wind turbine revenue could have been covered, the cost of the swimming pool and other such things, such as support for the rec center, enhancement to the parks, care for the aged and homeless, and fund a strong vocational training program for young people, so they would not be, so they could get good paying jobs instead of being tempted to turn to unlawful ways. Given the county's single-minded focus on using all the wind turbine money for their own ends, they should, without increasing the budget, devote $1.6 million annually to more popular projects that the people actually want. Further, we seek a guarantee that all out-of-county inmates be returned to their hometowns after release. If they stay here and commit another crime, the cost of their incarceration would be borne by us. The location of the jail is certainly questionable, being so close to the rec center, Maury Courts, the Discovery Museum, and the Renaissance School. Actually, it's inconvenient for most of the public. Further, it seems particularly audacious for the county to be requesting a raise now after creating such a mess. It is reminiscent of rewarding the child for bad behavior. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else for general public comment?
Hi, my name is Sheila. I live in Chippewa Township. And I just wanted to let everybody know what started out for me to be speaking in front of you today is that it started out as something personal, as there's solar development being put up near my father's home in Gratiot County. It's become something much bigger than me, and what I have to say is a warning to all that will listen. Have you ever heard the phrase, jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire, where we escape one set of problems only to be ensnared in a much worse scenario? I believe that is the current situation we are in when we consider putting solar panels up on farmland. The storyline unfolding before us is the massive land grab by the energy companies of our most valuable resource in the effort to produce enough solar energy to support the United States. Some estimates of the land needed for this effort is 15 million acres, and some argue that it will take much more than that. 15 million acres of food-producing land. Our farmland is already shrinking at an unprecedented pace, and the estimated land usage of solar projects is compounded with the following statistics. 51% of land in the United States is owned or managed by the federal government. 40 million acres of U.S. farmland is owned by foreign countries. 25 million acres are currently in the Conservation Reserve Program, a program where the government pays landowners not to farm, with normal contracts being 10 years, now increased to 30 years under the Biden administration. You, as a body of decision makers, are the guardian ad litem for this farmland, if you will. In the case of solar on farmland, you play a part of that guardianship. I am certain there are some decisions that you have been appointed to where you need to investigate what solutions would be in the best interest of the land. You give a voice to that which cannot speak for itself. I'm still learning what roles the Board of Commissioners and Planning Commissions have, but I do know that you all play a part at being the arbiters of what happens in the community. Until we are able to restore zoning to local governmental bodies, I urge you and the Planning Commission to review any zoning ordinance that does not protect the integrity of this farmland. to ensure a natural environment free from chemicals that are harmful or hazardous to animals or humans or the health of the soil. The ordinance should prohibit any activities that would compromise future agricultural purposes. The decisions of this board and others will have far-reaching consequences for the future of Isabella's County's cropland. Please consider how many acres of food-producing land you are willing to compromise. I would argue that limits be put in place immediately before mid-Michigan loses more precious agricultural land. While harvesting the elements of nature is something that people have done for a long time, we are not there yet with large-scale solar panels that are being developed today. There may be a day when this technology may be in harmony with our energy needs. However, the engineering, environmental impacts, and land usage is more harmful than beneficial at this point in time. And just for reference, when I found out this solar company was putting up solar panels near my father's home, my brother and I traveled to Lennon, Michigan. I recommend anybody that gets a chance to go to Lennon and see what's there. In North Star Township, the setbacks are only 50 feet. And I took some audio and video of Lennon, and this is an inverter. I am about 50 feet away from it, and directly across the road are homes. So people have to listen to this. I just wanted to play this for you. This is an inverter along the edge, and they are very loud. And there's several of those in a solar field. So I just recommend anybody that can get a chance to go there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Agenda public comment?
I'm Levi, and I did at the council meeting on the 13th, and I might bring up some of the same things that I brought up then. I didn't realize that the township is not responsible for grading the roads. And one of my questions was that who is responsible for grading the roads and when they be graded? We've had a lot of issues on the road with potholes, and the road grader goes now and again, and we can follow the grader and still see the potholes. So I don't know if they're not legal to put pressure on the blade enough to actually put it down where it needs to be. And I want to share you a little experience that I had end of January. I know we got a big snow, and we had a trip planned to go out of state with a small bus, and the snow hit a couple days before. The snowplow didn't go for a little while, but when they went, they just kind of skimmed the top. And a few days later, we had warmer weather, the sun came out, so we had slush. And our schedule to be aborted on the bus was like 1:30 a.m. So they didn't show up, but finally they called a neighbor to notify us that we had to walk 1 mile, 1:30 a.m. in the morning, carrying our luggage through the slush to get on our bus because they couldn't get off the Blacktop Road. All they would have had to do is drop their blade at the beginning, get the snow off, the slush would have been gone. Now, if we do talk about the slush, okay, we got the slush on the road, and somebody is traveling with a buggy. It could be a woman with children on there. Here comes a FedEx truck down through the road, and that slush is white, full width of the road. Where you guys expect that horse going to go? And where are the people going to go? So it's very important to grade the roads with the snow, get the snow off before we get the slush. Our road, the last snow, didn't get graded for a day after. I don't know, we're out to the edge of the county where we're not supposed to be graded. Well, you know, when snow comes in, and a lot of times it's packed down quite a bit before they even grade it. But if they do, they should kind of skim it off the top. So, I mean, walking out there 1:30 in the morning, and thinking of the millage that they're gonna try to hit us. And really, they could have done that with no extra expense. They got the trucks. They could have graded the snow off. But, I mean, we could do it, but it's just not, it was not a good feeling. And then we went out there and got on the bus, but we called home and make sure the roads are graded so we can get unloaded at midnight. The next day, we don't have to walk a mile back to the house. And thank you for doing that. They came out, we called in, they came out, graded the road, and we were able to get everybody to their front door. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir.
I know the rules that we don't respond, but I think it's important to know that this body does not have any responsibility or provides any funding for the roads. There's a elected road commission, Isabella County Road Commission, that has full responsibility. But I will personally pass that on to the road commission engineer. But it would behoove anybody that's not happy with the condition of their road to go down to the road commission. They have an elected board and have public meetings too, and you can get it before them and express your dissatisfaction. Thank you.
How do I get in contact with them, or how do I know where they're at?
The road commission is located on Remus Road, which is M20 as you're heading out of town. Is it just before Bradley or after Bradley? After Bradley. They got a new building right up. You can't miss it, Bill. Isabella County Road Commission.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that one Kimball? I live in Rupert Township. Y'all want to raise our taxes. You know, the thing is to me is y'all just built a multi-million-dollar road commission complex there. Did we need that? Not that nice thing. And our roads are crap. You get around Mount Pleasant here, and I take it everywhere here, or it probably lives right close to Mount Pleasant. You get out in the country where we're at, our roads are horrible. I mean, we'd almost be better off with dirt roads than blacktop roads that we live on. Absolute junk. But as soon as you get close to Mount Pleasant, all roads leading to Mount Pleasant are nice. But our back country blacktop roads are horrible. Now you want to raise our taxes to build basically to finish a multi-million-dollar jail project. That, in my opinion, why are we doing this? Why are we wanting to bring inmates from other countries? Prisoners, convicts. So you bring these convicts into our county, you're gonna make money on it. But then the people that come and visit those convicts are most likely convicts too. So what are we bringing into our county? A bunch of convicts, a bunch of loose convicts. That here goes our crime rate in our county. You know, if they ain't got room in other counties for their convicts, let them add on, let them build. Why are we building something big and fancy that we have to pay for? I don't go to jail. I don't do wrong. Most of these people out here ain't gonna go to jail. Why should they have to pay for it? So, you know, I didn't write a fancy speech like the last two in front of me, but I'm just here to voice an opinion. So I guess that's it.
Thank you. What else? General public comment.
Steve Morgan, starting out with Township. I'm here to address a few issues. First of all, I'm still waiting on a phone call from our local commissioner, Terry Hutchins, in regards to a township meeting he attended. I specifically gave him my number to return a phone call back to me, and that still hasn't happened. And that's exactly what happened. So your glorified Isabel County employees, they don't want to hear from them. But you direct us to go speak to them people, and they could give a shit less what we have to say, because we're just dumb. We're just the taxpayers. We're the ones that fund all your guys' play money. Who thought it was a good idea to spend $950,000 on 39 acres for this jail? When previously in 2013, they had only sold for $300,000. 2018, it sold for $950,000. Those are some pretty good margins, people. On the backs of the taxpayers. The backs of the taxpayers. Not you guys, but all of us. When is this going to stop? When are you guys going to start trimming the fat on your side? Back in the late 90s, you should have learned from Dow Corning. They had a massive layoff. I mean massive, historic. People lost their jobs. People got their pay cut. People lost their insurances. But you guys all think it's all great and fun to get your severance packages, get your insurance packages, to get your pay scale. I personally know people that work for the county, and they brag about how great it is. Now that's quite a slap in the face. So first and foremost, start in your own house, start trimming the fat, and if it requires people losing their job, it requires them losing their job. That's not our responsibility to make you guys financially feasible. And you shouldn't ask the taxpayer every time that you overspend to ask more money from the taxpayers. Why our roads aren't getting fixed? Oh, we have to do a millage. That doesn't even count what's going on over in Ottawa Township. The cover up. But no, we have nothing to do with it. It's not our problem. It's not Ottawa Township's problem. Somebody at the county level has known about this issue in BOC, Michigan for decades. This just didn't reappear. This has been going on for decades. BOC residents already paid 22% tax increase. 22%. The average residents, because of the sewer project, their taxes went up almost $500. And then you're going to ask us to fund the deal with the sheriffs because of your mismanagement? Where does it stop? Trim the fat. Show the taxpayers you're willing to make the cuts. You show us what you're going to do for us, not we show what we're going to do for you. When is it going to stop? Really, when's it going to stop? So if Core Lake goes through, it's a higher end project. It's going to cost us a lot more money for 40 years. Never had a sewer bill in my entire life. I chose not to live in Mount Pleasant for all the stronghold of government. How much taxes are in Mount Pleasant? People try to get away. Now you're infiltrating out into the townships, onto these little towns. When's it going to stop? Are you guys going to start taking pay cuts? All the county employees, the 275 employees that you have, are they willing to take pay cuts? Are they willing to lose their health insurance and pay for it themselves? Most importantly, are they willing to lose their homes? Because some people out there in our township are going to do that. You guys realize that? This isn't funny. We need to start seeing some true answers and get this fixed and get fixed soon. Nobody should have made that kind of money on 39 acres. Period. That's the taxpayers' money. You're supposed to work for us and do the right things and make the right choices. Now, what do I hear? I hear that they're doing a complete remodel at the county building down. Is that true or isn't it true? Because one rooftop unit needed to be repaired. That asbestos did not appear just out of the blue. It appeared because somebody disturbed that asbestos that's been in there for decades. That's how asbestos reappears. So first it was the third floor is going to get worked on. Now it's the whole entire building apparently. There's some serious changes that need to be made in this county. Because we're all gonna leave. We'll be forced to leave. Not that we want to, but we'll be forced to leave. You offered for me to call you. I'm hesitant to call anybody. Because all you do is you get the same excuses why something isn't done. I called the county road commission. I called the county drain commission. I called them all. They could care less. It's excuses. Flat out excuses that they give us. Do you realize that? Do any of you guys realize that it's excuses? All we hear is excuses. But then you see these $1 million vehicles that they drive around. These road graders. Glorified road graders.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask if you can wrap this up. I've let you go way beyond your 3 minutes.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else for general public comment?
My name is Clyde Prickard. I live in Rollin Township. I got a couple questions. We've been here 30 years. Every year our taxes, our valuation goes up and our taxes change. And what about all these new houses that come to new buildings? You know, within 3 miles of my place, there's 20 new houses. That's all on the tax roll, making more money, more money. Where's all that extra money going? Why do you keep needing more money when your taxes go up? When your property value goes up? And I just don't understand why you need the more money. And what are we getting for it? When you have all these new houses go up, those are $200,000-300,000 houses or more. Where's that money go? You don't count that money. That's extra money you didn't have last year. And then everybody's property value goes up every year. That's all I got to say. Why is you keep asking for more money when you're getting more all the time? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from general public comment?
You turn the video off. Thank you. I'm Simon Yoder from Rollin Township. The main reason for the group here tonight is about we're concerned about the tax increase. We see it as it's getting to be quite a burden to us for the way the taxes are at the moment. They're already high, and we don't know we hardly see how it will be a way for the future generation to keep paying higher taxes. So it'll get to be where they probably won't be able to make it in the county, so we don't know, you know, the important part about this, but it doesn't look positive to us. That's kind of the main reason we came in tonight, is for the tax raise. So I just wanted to let you know on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? General public comments.
Here from Norfolk Township, and I didn't really prepare myself for a speech or anything like that, but I kind of thought a little bit, or had the same concerns Simon had. I realized we got lots of privileges. We can practice our faith how we feel is right, and hopefully we're not a burden to the county. As we already know, probably 80 to 90% of our tax dollars we pay on property taxes goes for things we don't use, like the school, whatever. Most of our tax dollars go to the county on things we don't use. Of course, we use the roads, we use stuff like that, and we're very thankful for our privileges we have, but our homes get appraised at unreasonable prices. If I build houses and sell houses at the price would they get appraised at, I'd probably be making more money than any of you are. And then we pay taxes on, and like I said, we're thankful for the privilege we have. I just wish somehow we could try to not keep going up constantly. I think one of the others kind of touched that. Where does all the money go from all the new buildings, all the new houses? It doesn't cost the county that much more to maintain the roads or maintain everything, but that's kind of the concerns I have. Let's get to the point where we, of course, we already know we're spending way more on taxes now than 30 years ago they did on payments. So that's just my concerns, and thank you for the good you do for us and the privilege that we have. I just hope we can keep flying out of our reach.
Thank you. Anyone else? General public comment? Anyone else? Fun? Okay, thank you, everyone that spoke. We do appreciate it. And at this time, we'll move on. It will be another opportunity for general public comment towards the end of the meeting. At this time, we'll move on, to the consent agenda. Commissioner Embry, would you present the consent agenda for us, please? Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry about this. The consent agenda, the motion reads, move to approve, place on file February 6th,
2024 work session meeting minutes, the February 6th, 2024 regular meeting minutes, February 13th, 2024 Finance and Administration Committee meeting minutes, the February 13th, 2024 Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee meeting minutes, and the February 13th, 2024 Human Resources and Public Works Committee meeting minutes.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve and place on file the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Brings us down to committee reports, finance and administration.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first item is the February 2nd, 2024 invoice list, the February 9th, 2024 invoice list, and the February 15th, 2024 adjustment list. Motion reads, move to ratify and place on file the February 2nd, 2024 invoice list in the amount of $570,414.49. The February 9th, 2024 invoice list in the amount of $1,484,735.68, and the adjustment list dated February 15th, 2024.
Support.
Been moved and supported to ratify and place on file the February 2nd, 2024 invoice list, the February 9th, 2024 invoice list, and the February 15th, 2024 adjustment list discussion.
So the way we pay the bills at the county, we present those in our personal emails, so we have a chance to review them at home. Then they come before the Finance and Administration Committee for a further review. And then finally, they come to our work session, which was at 5 o'clock this evening, where we get a chance in person to ask questions and to comment about any of the bills that are up for payment. And finally, it comes to our work session, we approve the bills for the night. So the way the invoice list works is we get a front page that any bill that's over $5,000 is listed there, draws attention to it. But there's also probably 20-some pages in the background of smaller bills that get paid by the county. So moving on to the February 2nd list, we had a chance to look at it, and the only discussion was related to payment of a lease. To find it here, just give me a second. Do the kindness thing. So we have a lease requirement, or lease request of $1,450 for rental space at Lux Funeral Home. We have 3 of those for housing the county clerk's office. And as I mentioned in the work session, I was going to make a motion to approve this, the original motion, but amending it to take those 3 payments out. One, we don't currently have a lease agreement between Lux Funeral Home and the county. And I don't know all the legalities of how those payments are going to be made, but we do have a building that we're leasing temporarily on Pickard Street that has space, maybe not quite as much space as available as the Madam Clerk at the Lux Funeral Home, but there is space in it that can accommodate that office. So I'll just leave that for right now. I didn't know if there's any other concerns with this particular invoice list as we continue the review. Going to the next invoice list was dated February 9th. We have, and most of these, even the ones that appear on the front, are very routine. They appear before us. They're appropriations to Middle Michigan Development Corporation, Community Mental Health, the animal shelter. We have appropriations for the state of Michigan for circuit court transmittals. A lot of these are pass-through dollars. A lot of them are directly related to county operation. I didn't see anything on the February 9th list that drew attention for my concern. If anybody else had questions or concerns on that list? Finally, the adjustment list modifies those two. It makes changes to those two after we've had a chance to see them. And those changes are usually due to being able to pay a bill early to get a discount. The Sheriff's Department gets a lot of those, Gordon Foods, they buy a lot of food for the inmate population. And so we get a discount by paying the bill early. Sometimes we pay it only to avoid a late fee. Because the county follows a certain procedure and it pays its bills, and the vendor follows a different procedure that you don't always coincide, so we pay the bill early to avoid that late fee. And every once in a while, we'll find there's an entry error, so we'll make that adjustment. Any questions on the adjustment list? With that, Mr. Chairman, I would move to amend the original motion. Looking to see where to amend it here. Just amending it right after the February 15, 2024, to remove the 3 payments to Lux Funeral Home in the amount of each payment in the amount of $1,450 for future consideration until we have a lease. And I guess I also recommend that Madam Clerk also kind of reconsider maybe moving into the facility that we have.
For that motion. Okay, there's support for the motion to amend. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Back to the
Just with nays, nays on there. Maybe nays on there.
nays.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Embry.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler, Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And motion is amended. That was for the.
Yeah.
To do.
Didn't we already have that previous motion?
That was still on the floor.
Yeah, we don't need to. Sorry, we can support it.
Okay, good one. Any further discussion on?
It's amended.
As amended, thank you. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Marino.
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Embry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam.
Second item for the Finance and Administration Committee is the prime contract change order number 14, Clark Construction. Most read to approve the prime contract change order with number 14, Clark Construction. And the net additional amount of $14,554 and authorize the board chair to sign same.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve the prime contract change order number 14, construction discussion.
We had our senior project manager at our work session earlier, and she described the various changes that resulted in the additional costs that would come from our buyout line versus our contingency line. Total amount was $14,564, and they were for changes that were made that resulted in money being moved between contractors because of either mistakes that were made or adjustments that needed to be made between the two contractors. The first was Choice Concrete and Focal Metal Works. That was for $2,631. And then money was moved between William E. Walters and Choice Concrete for the repairs of concrete floors. We did have the the Wi-Fi pucks for the sheriff's cars. We need additional drops for those pucks, conduit. That resulted in an additional charge of $6,141 to Master Electric. Then we had that one that needed the wall changed to a 12-inch wall from an 8-inch wall to allow for the plumbing carrier. Last item was Union Township requirement that we have a redundant bypass around the RPZ just for sprinkler system and our water system. That resulted in an additional charge of $7,998.
Very good. Yes, sir.
So it's important to say that this is coming from buyout. You have change orders, sometimes you get money added. When you have change orders, sometimes you get money taken away. In a project this large and technical, you gotta expect that you're gonna have these change orders. The good news is we still have money in buyouts, so we're ahead of the game. We haven't even touched our contingency amounts, so the project is under budget at this point.
Good point. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Embry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler, Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Next item is the Isabella County fiscal year 2025 budget calendar. Motion reads, move to adopt the Isabella County fiscal year 2025 budget calendar.
Or
Been moved and supported to adopt the Isabella County fiscal year 2025 budget calendar discussion.
So the county administration has added additional time in the development and consideration of the budget. Based on the fact that we are seeking the 2.5 mil increase, that shouldn't go, if passed by the voters. Then we will make the adjustments necessary to balance the budget on the reduction of services side. We've heard tonight that we need to live within our budget. And that's certainly our intention. When we went out to the vote of the people, we knew that the things that we probably have to cut are been very long, enjoyed services and expected by quite a few of the residents. If those, if the voters decide that, no, we don't want the additional taxes, then we as a county board need to say, okay, we got the message. We will right the financial ship, but we will have to reduce significantly the amount of services we offer. So that's gonna take time. And I appreciate the county administration giving us that additional time. This is something we're working on now. Which we're not gonna be, making harsh, rash decisions. It's gonna be something that's gonna be well thought out and done in the best interest of the residents of the county. But I think this calendar works well. And it does provide a goal setting session where we can really exchange information with our elected officials and department heads, appointed department heads and employees to get their input. This is something that we need to do as a team effort as we move forward.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Embry,
yeah.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yeah.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Holt.
Yeah.
7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
And final item for the Finance and Administration Committee is Spence Brothers proposal. Motion reads, move to approve the Spence Brothers proposal for professional construction management services for the Isabella County Administration Building rebuild project.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve the Spence Brothers proposal. Discussion.
We had a representative from Spence Brothers here at a work session earlier to discuss the advantages of utilizing their services as a construction management delivery organization. It comes with a lot of positives. First and foremost is the expedited delivery of long lead time equipment, such as our air conditioning, our heating, anything that's going to require many months lead time to bring into the building. So that's one aspect. The other is controlling the overall budget. I feel very strongly that it's important that we do have a construction management delivery system for the rebuild. It's very similar in nature to what we are using out at the sheriff's office and correctional facility. I think it worked well for us in order to keep our costs in line, and as well as making sure that we have the necessary equipment and necessary equipment and items to install in the building. So with that,
The only thing I would add is, we need to have that building. None of us were around when that building was originally constructed, and at the time it was originally constructed, asbestos was not to be a health concern. It was discovered as we tried to just make routine maintenance improvements to the building, following the law, we had to inspect it, and it was discovered. There's no conspiracy in terms of that building. It's needed to house government offices that provide a lot of services to residents. And to replace it with another building, you're talking 3 times the cost. So I'm glad that we have a construction management service proposal, and they're willing to work with us to get this building back on its feet as quickly as possible, so we can get all the departments from wherever they're at back into a central location.
I'll just add to that Spence Brothers put a new roof on that building for us, and had great success with them. They were great to work with. They worked very closely with Spicer Group, architectural firm on the project, so forward should be a good thing. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Jeleniski,
Yes.
Commissioner Eber, Commissioner Moreno,
Yes.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Embry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hope.
Yeah.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Commissioners. Brings us to Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Yes, so our only item tonight is Isabella County Public Defender to hire. Motion is move to authorize Isabella County Public Defender to fill the position of misdemeanor level assistant public defender at a higher than starting rate based upon qualifications of the proposed new hire.
Support.
Been supported to authorize Isabella County Public Defender to hire. Discussions.
Ms. Hausman, the Director of the Public Defense Office for Isabella County, was here earlier to represent this item in the work session. We have indigent defense group that is being paid by the MIDC, the state government provides the funds for most of us. We just have to get the benefit sides of each employee. He has been trying to fill this position since September. We have a person who is interested in the position. He's from Rosebush, which to getting a lawyer that lives in the area to work for us is few and far between. And he comes with already with 8 years public defender's office experience. So he would be hiring in at the same rate that the previous experienced lawyer left at. So there will be no change in the budget, and that obviously salary is still paid for by the state funds from the MIDC.
Thanks for explanation. Commissioner Engler.
Yeah, just wanted to update a little bit on this while we're here. This is another one of the mandates that came down from the state probably about 5 years ago. I think the company has almost 1,500 mandates that we have to provide. I think this is a 70% grant, we still have to come up with pretty close to about 32%, I believe that the correct number is on this. So between that, this is, I think the total budget is about 1.4 million. Do you remember, Chair, what that is? I have to look on my books, but the total budget for this that office is, our share is around 400, about 400. 65. No.
Yeah, 2038, I think.
Okay. Anyways. The thing is, it's another more cost that we've had increase over the years. I know that the county is also working mandate that they passed law that we have to do a material management plan. So I know when we get to costs about addressing costs, and if we go back to 1950s, the costs are in there, but between all the other costs and all the extra mandates we have, we required to do more services, and the state share keeps on going down. So these are why something costs keep going up. This is an example of what's going on.
Point, thank you.
Yes, sir.
No, normally past year, I have not been in favor of raises. So we completed the wage and work study. And this particular situation is different in that, to me, you just replacing with an apple, there's no additional costs to the county, while simultaneously getting someone with significant service and qualifications that exceed the starting rate. So I feel like as long as we're not increasing the cost to the county, not really giving out a raise, we're just having somebody at the same level that the previous person was making when they left. It's worthy of consideration.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ingram,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Embry, Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Holt.
Yeah.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passes, Mr. Chairman.
From Justice and County.
Thank you, Commissioners, and that brings us to Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first item is an engagement letter that Phelps for Zurich Roads PLC. The motion reads: move to approve the engagement letter with Betty Schultz for Zurich Roads PLC for legal services regarding lake levels, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Support.
Been moved and supported to approve the engagement letter with Betty Schultz, Zurich Roads PLC. Discussion.
Yes, at our previous meeting, there was the Resources Committee. We got input from Paul Willoughby, the drain commissioner. And this afternoon, we got input from Spicer engineer Luke O'Brien and Amanda Knudsen and Walker mentioned about the obligations that the county has. And regarding, well, there's 3 lakes that we are responsible for: Stevenson Lake, Wakeman, Mill Pond, and Lake Isabel. At this time, Stevenson Lake and the Wakeman Mill Pond. And it was discovered that there was some issues that the drain commissioner found out, and because of the procedure, we had to get a lawyer to represent us in these specialized negotiations and issues. But also the Eagle is involved, lake levels, and so we got all the commissioners were forwarded the presentation that we saw at the meeting, and so everybody had their input. And at this time, we'd like to deal with it through the assistance of the law firm that was
Yes, sir.
I'd like to commend Commissioner Willoughby for looking into this. I know we're all with the dam failures in Gladwin and Midland County and the destruction of what those failures did to personal and private property downstream. If we have a responsibility for those dams, we have to make sure that they're in good condition and operating according to the law. And there's adequate insurance on covering those. Now, I understand that the Stevenson Lake Dam is a low risk dam because it's a dam that actually just raises the water level a little bit higher than what it normally would be. It's a natural lake, but it does increase it a little bit. But the Wademan Mill Pond is a high risk dam that has some serious defects. So by going through this process, in conjunction with the circuit court and the Drain Commission office, we'll get this taken care of. And I guess too, I put up another example of the things that the county is involved with. It's not real simple things. There's a lot of requirements on the way the county operates and provides various services.
Yeah, it's like a difference in Stevenson Lake that we're talking about, 3 inches. But
I know there's people too that are being affected by this sewer district that'll be assessed. Well, these dams, the cost of those repairs will be assessed to the property owners that benefit from those bodies of water. So it's not going to be a general liability to the county taxpayers.
We'd like to make, I guess, 2 comments. One, to clarify that, so the Drain Commission is requiring to have the dams inspected, and so this year was the year to do these inspections, and that's when Wakeman Mill Pond and Stevens Lake issues were identified that with the seepage and whatnot. And so we're moving forward with this to basically make sure that all the contracts with the local property owners are done correctly, that the assessments are appropriately done, because none of these have the assessment maps done with them. And we also have already identified possible funding. So Stevenson Lake is one that is traditionally was rebuilt in 2000 by the tribe. So we've already gotten and had conversations with them about this lake. So we'll probably have funding from the tribe for that repairs, and then Bill since it's a high assessment, may be up for state grant. So we don't just regularly assessment. Obviously, if funds are not completely covering repairs, that would have to for special assessment by the lake. We do identify ways to for.
thank you. Okay, some more questions or comments on that? I can say basically the same. The commission explaining, I mean, this just aligns us, keeps us, our risk factor down. So allows us to step up, ask for events. Social all the items on our list tonight are all related, all do the same thing. Third lake involved, which is not going to be in tonight's mentioning, is Lake Isabel. We've just got to get with them. They already have authorities in place out there. We've got to talk to them, see if
Comment. It's not all new to the movement. We're trying to protect everybody. It's also a benefit to the people that enjoy those bodies of water. you can see what happened to the other residents around the two lakes that washed out. Be years before they get back whole again. So this benefits residents that enjoy those bodies of water.
Good discussion. Anything further? Hearing, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Embry.
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Resolution 2023, addressing wage. Motion reading to approve resolution 2024-03, and authorize activities related to the wage. Lake level and authorize the board to. This means.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve resolution number 2024-03 addressing the Wademan Mill Pond Lake discussion.
Yeah, this one is probably a little more important than the other. A little higher risk. Just in the when they put the dam in place, the embankment, there's been erosion on it. You've got seepage through that embankment. So that doesn't come out clean to the body, just indicating that there's some issue there. Mr. Willoughby went on to say that he understands why it was run that way and run her to a drain to take it away. But this whole thing sets up the property rights for the people around it. Allows us to lower and keep it maintained level. You've got in all the paperwork that's going to go through the future. You got to maintain that level, and you got to also have all the markings in place if you're drawing down. It just allows us to keep everything intact, and also once we get numbers, then we can have the proper amount of insurance so that we're not taking anything we don't want to wash away or affecting between.
Any further discussion on that one? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Embry.
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler. Commissioner Marino.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item is resolution 2024-04 addressing Stevenson Lake. The motion reads move to resolution 2024-04 to authorize activities related to the Stevenson Lake level and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Been moved and supported to approve resolution number 2024-04 addressing Stevenson discussion.
Yeah, Stevenson Lake, the drainage commission related to us in the committee, was last inspected in 2022. And it's a lower level risk than the still it has to be addressed. It's quite a new structure and it's not safe anymore. There were different regulations out when they made it. We got to make sure that that we bring it up to the regulations. And the law firm is going to guide us through that process. And the county only has 3 different. And I know, being a county commissioner, I talked to lots of other commissioners, like around Totem Lake and East Bay and all that. We compared to those volume base, yeah, not that many. So I'm really thankful about that.
Yes, and only 3 dams that were responsible and liable.
Yeah, and I don't think any have ownership like ones.
Right. Good point. Any other discussion?
There is. Commissioner.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment and bring it up in work sessions, basically 2 resolutions are legally the same, just the locations, but the language is basically the same resolution, it's just the difference in townships and locations, so.
Any other
I was
comments?
looking at my notes. There's one more link I was going to address, just over, passed over. And that is, water, I think they're across the road, there's another lake. I don't know who's responsible for that dam, must not be us, like, it wasn't addressed, but.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Commissioner Embry.
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler, Commissioner Holt. 7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passes, Mr. Chairman.
Third and. Thank you, Commissioner. Prepare for new business. Item A, consider scheduling goal setting meeting of the Board of Commissioners for date and talking work session about doing it after admin meets with the department heads and electeds, how to get their input. And so that moving forward, goals for the year, have a little bit of outset that process. So and that's a good idea. Goal setting session, something we've done last few years, I think, and I think it's been a good idea, good process, good practice.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I move that we establish a goal setting session for March 26th, 1 p.m.
Support.
Been moved and supported to set a goal setting session for March 26th at 1 p.m. Any discussion?
Maybe you should add here, if we can do it, otherwise to the location to be announced.
Right, they're checking here. I don't know if this is available, but we'll find a space. It is. Very good. We'll be here. Okay. We will be here at the Commission on Aging, March 26th at 1 p.m. Goal setting session. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yeah.
Commissioner Engler.
Yeah.
Commissioner Marino.
Yeah.
Commissioner Slaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Embry.
Yes.
Commissioner Holt.
Yeah.
7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And that brings us to item B, the insulin pricing litigation. And that was someone in the work session from moving forward on this litigation having to do with insulin prices. And thought that would be a good idea to enter into that litigation. There's no risk on the part of the county. There's no cost up front. There's no cost if they don't get a settlement. Only a payment if they do. So.
I think the legal firm made a good argument based on data and the fact that insulin for diabetics hasn't changed in years. But the price of those insulin to buy it has gone up huge dollar amounts. So suggests that there's probably some collusion going on in the marketplace, and this should sort it out.
Very good. I'll add also that it's been a few years since we entered into the opiate litigation, and we have received quite a bit of money from that litigation. Money that can only be used for certain things, mainly drug treatment. But we have set up an endowment fund for that money so that it will grow and be there in perpetuity. And will fund, drug treatment programs in the county for many years. Which, drug usage is a big problem here, like everywhere else, I guess. Yeah, someone would like to make that motion.
Sure, I'll make a motion. Motion reads, move to consider filing suit to address overcharges that Isabella County may have paid due to alleged improper pricing scheme associated with high insulin prices and authorize forfeiture to sign the same.
Support. And moved and supported to move to consider filing suit to address the overcharges that Isabella County may have paid due to alleged improper pricing scheme associated with high insulin prices. Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Engler.
I don't, it's just. The motion says to consider, so. We're really making a decision and we're still trying to consider it.
Well,
It would be better to join.
the discussion earlier was that we would have a proposal forthcoming. And this is just kind of an initial step in saying, yes, we're interested in an engagement letter proposal.
A letter of intent.
Letter of intent, yes, thank you. That. Okay, and I think our administrative controller wanted to chime in there.
Yes, I do think that there is an engagement letter forthcoming. I also think that the word consider probably got in there because it was brought forward originally at the work session. And those are that's the language we use on the work session agenda is to consider. So I'm guessing that's how that language got in there.
Well, in this way too, when there is an engagement letter, we haven't committed to that part of it yet. We can still negotiate or opt out. We just so choose at that point. Yes, sir.
Here's one that this is something if we go forward and we're successful, those funds can be used in general and they're not restricted.
Good point. Any other discussions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Embry,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hope. 7 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That completes new business section and brings us to general public comment. Anyone for general public comment? See anyone coming forward? General public comment. So we'll move right on to announcements. Commissioners, any announcements? Commissioner Engler.
Just in case someone didn't hear me earlier, I would like to say that the Conservation District is having their annual tree sales. April 5th, the deadline, so if we want any trees, you can order them, go to the Isabella County District.org website, Facebook site, or stop at the office. And some update on some collections. We have had household hazardous waste collection from 8 to noon on January 8th at the fairground. We'll have another one June 8th. Having a date today. And the second one will be on September 7th. And they also will have a tire pickup from 8 to noon at the Isabella County Fairgrounds. That's May 18th and September 28th.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Yes, sir.
Yeah. As most of the folks who are here this evening are from my district, out in the western communities. I would like to speak directly to you as well as to Mr. Kimball and Mr. Morgan. I want to point out one thing I think is very important. We have new leadership here at Isabella County. There's a young lady, Madam Administrator, would you wave your hand so that the folks here know who you are? And we have our interim Deputy Administrator, Ms. Melissa. We have a new chair, we have a new vice chair. We have a leadership group that I assure you is committed to righting this financial ship. You've asked us to get our financial house in order. I can tell you, not only is this group totally committed, but every one of these commissioners that sits on this board is totally committed to righting this financial ship. We've only been on the board for a year. They have, over the past year, I guarantee you, been working toward making this happen, creating a situation where we can run our county government efficiently and within budget. We have some financial situation. We have a financial situation now that is pretty substantial. We felt it was important to go to you, the taxpayer, the voter. Give us a mandate of what you want us to do. If you want us to continue with the services that we currently provide, you'll pass the millage. If you don't believe that we need that money, you're gonna vote no. And I can guarantee you, there's a group of people here that sits at this table with Madam Administrator that have already established millions of dollars of cuts to our county budget. And you will see those cuts being made sooner than later. So I want you to understand that we have not, your comments this evening, and the comments that I received out in the county have not fallen on deaf ears. I assure you. So, yeah, look out, there will be posts on paper, will be on Facebook, and it will be very shortly after the vote for the millage. If the millage does not pass. And one last thing, even if the millage does pass, I'm personally committed, and I know these gentlemen here around the board, along with our administrator, deputy administrator, we're committed to righting the ship, not just short term. No intention of coming back in 6 years if it passes at some point in the interim. We have no intention of coming back and asking for another $2.5 million. That to me is malfeasance. That tells me that you can't manage your own householding. We can't get ourselves straight. I expect at the end of this process, if and when it does pass, whatever millage it does turn out to be, that we will have our financial house in order. Our county administration and our county government will look very, very different in the very near future and will continue to look very, very different. It will not be the same as what it used to now. This millage does not pass. And even if it does, we're going to make sure forward that we operate within the budget that we have, within the monies that we have. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Okay, a couple things I want to point out. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. We do appreciate it, and everyone that spoke, we appreciate that. One of the gentlemen that spoke said he hopes the Amish community is not a burden to the county, and I can tell you, Amish community is a benefit to this county. So I don't want any of you to think that your community is a burden. I certainly don't see it that way. I don't think the rest of these folks at this table do either. We see it as a benefit to this county. Couple other points I want to make, the roads. There were a few complaints about the roads. Some counties, the road commission answers to the board of commissioners. In Isabella County, it does not. The road commission is kind of its own separate entity. So complaints with the road commission, although Vice Chairman Jelzinski said he put forward a certain complaint, and we certainly can do that. But those are better addressed by the road commission. They're responsible for the roads in the county. Just want to clarify that. I understand, the confusion there. Because in a lot of counties, the road commission is answerable to the board of commissioners. Another thing, the inmates from other areas was mentioned. We haven't done that in a long time. We have not housed inmates from other counties, for quite some time. You'd have to go back a couple of sheriffs, to when we did that. We did house for Wayne County, but I don't know, it's been a long, long time since we've done that. We do house a few folks for the US Marshals. They usually go to court in Bay City and we house them. But that's very lucrative. We make money off that. Usually they're held here, they go to court in Bay City and then they're on to Jackson or wherever it is. From there, so they're not here very long, they're not released into the community. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the jail conversation started in 2016, before I got on this board. There was a feasibility study done on our 3 buildings on the main campus, and the jail was a big part of that. Found that the jail the structure is sound. Everything else in that building is not, and is at risk of failure. The HVAC system, the electrical system, the plumbing system, and they've had problem after problem with the plumbing, and the electrical and the HVAC in there. Actually, one of the rooftop units failed a couple winters ago, and we paid $1,000 a day for temporary heat. So the jail is something that counties are mandated to do. You have to have a jail. We always have about 150 or so guests in there that we have to take care of. We have to provide their medical care. So just wanted to make those points. The jail we have was built in 1958. So conversations were started shortly after that feasibility study in 2016 to replace that building. So just want to make that point. And that's all I had. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make something clear that I heard people say today, and that is this, the recreational facility, the center has nothing to do with the county. It is being brought forth in Mount Pleasant School District and Union Township. We have nothing to do with that.
Glad you remember that. Anything else? Any other announcements? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So,
All those in favor say aye.